वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपाम्बुदिर्यतमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. So we continue our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, entitled Dhyan Yoga, control of the mind, and today's verse is text 5. So we go through it, and a question, why is it important to control the mind? Does the mind need controlling? If yes, why is it important? Why do we need to control our mind? Any thoughts? Two questions, na? Does the mind need controlling? If so, why do we need to control our mind?
So that we're not controlled by the mind.
Okay, so the mind needs controlling and we need to control our mind so that we are not controlled by the mind. And why do we not want to be controlled by the mind? What's wrong in being controlled by the mind? What does it help us to control the mind?
I think it helps us to control our desires.
Okay. Yes, Evie, what's something?
I was saying the senses, so the same sort of thing.
Yeah, okay, nice. Same. So to control our senses, to control our desires. And why do we want to control our desires? Desires is what I desire. Why do I control my desire? It's my mind. Why do I have to control my mind? It's my desires. Why to control my desires, huh? What do you say, Harsha?
Hare
Diksha,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think mind can also lead to destruction. All our desires cannot be good. They can be hazardous, they can be bad. So keeping that in like first priority, we should always try to strike a balance.
Nice. See, in conditioned state, na, before practicing say Krishna consciousness, yeah, our mind is actually on the lower side, engaged on material sense gratification, na, with a material identity, with a material consciousness. Yeah, so we identify everything with matter, na? So and uh, so we need to control our mind because we are spirit souls and we are meant for a higher purpose. But the mind is so engrossed in matter, in material sense gratification. And this is why we need to control our mind in order to help us understand what is our real identity and we act by our identity. Anyone in this world we see who does not act by his identity, it does not befit him, it is not suitable. People say, nah, you are a surgeon, act like a surgeon. Why are you not acting like a surgeon? You are a doctor, you are a lawyer, engineer, you are a farmer. Act like that. Why are you acting otherwise? So we are also spirit soul. More than spirit soul, we are devotees of Krishna. So we shouldn't act otherwise. We should act like a devotee of Krishna. But never consider ourselves to be a devotee. Okay. Um, so EV हर्षा दीक्षा आदर्श हाँ, ये बात ना कि act like a devotee but never consider yourselves to be a devotee. Why not consider ourselves to be a devotee?
Because by then there will be no room for improvement.
Very beautiful, very nice दीक्षा. बहुत सुंदर. अगर मान लिया ना भक्त हूँ मैं, तो वहाँ ठप हो जाएंगे हम. फिर हम बहुत शिथिलता आ जाएगी. जिस दिन मान लिया ना कि अब मैं भक्त बन गया, तो प्रोग्रेस हमारी फिर ठंडी पड़ जाएगी. इसीलिए बात करें ना, द इफ आई कंसिडर माई सेल्फ टू बी अ डिवोटी, देन आई विल बी अगेन ऑन द स्लो ट्रैक. देन आई विल बी वेरी कैजुअल. Casualty will creep in. Mahaprabhu's teachings is Kirtanya Sadahari. Kirtanya Sadahari. To always chant. Trinadapi Sunicena. If you do you know remember the English translation of it? Trinadapi Sunicena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. Amanina Mandena Kirtanya Sadahari.
No, I didn't.
One,
I do, sorry.
go on, Evi. One should chant the holy name
Holy
of the
name of the
Lord
Lord. Constantly.
uh, in a
Humble state of mind.
fashion. Go on. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking.
Thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street,
Beautiful. One should be.
more humble than a tree. I'm sorry, more tolerant than a tree.
Hmm.
Is that right? And ready to offer all respect unto others.
Devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects unto others.
In such a state of mind,
In such a.
in such a state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Haribol. Very nice.
Haribol.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. So Mahaprabhu's teachings is Kirtanya Sadari. To chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. ये भगवान से प्यार करना ये कोई ये नहीं है वीकेंड वाला प्यार या 1-2 साल का प्यार या कुछ ऐसा. ये सारे भौतिक जगत की सीमाएं हैं इत्यादि. भगवान से प्यार तो हमारा अनंत ही है ना. अनंत और अनादिकाल से ही है. शाश्वत है वो. उसी में ना, इसीलिए भजन तो प्रेम में व्यवहार की बात है. सो या so it is not like this is where we want to enter ourselves in a constant remembrance of Krishna, in a continuous remembrance of Krishna. So इसीलिए we have to act like a devotee, but we never consider ourselves to be a devotee. Maya will creep in. What will happen if I start thinking myself to be a devotee, that I have become a devotee? Then what will happen? Okay, now I have become a senior devotee. Wow, I'm senior than others now. These are newcomers, these are new joiners. Even this devotee, he's been the same time as me, but I have progressed way more. I have progressed further. And this devotee, he joined before I joined. He started practicing before I started practicing. But still, I have overcome him as well. I become a senior. Or Maya will creep in. Na? Maya will settle us down with what? These many rounds. 10 rounds, 8 rounds, 12 rounds, 16 rounds. Maya will settle us with these many rounds. But no, we cannot afford to be settled down in bhakti. No, bhakti is one thing where one cannot settle down because Krishna is a very unsettling personality. He's a very unsettling personality. We cannot settle down just like that. So it is highly important to control our mind. The mind needs controlling. Why? Because the mind is this in a monkey mind. Mind is not in one place. The mind is not aligned with the heart. So if there is a disalignment anywhere, then we need to reshape, realign, control, bring it in line. है ना? Mind is many times all over the place. So it needs controlling, definitely. And why do we need to control our mind? Because as you all said, because our desires are not good. Because we have perverted desires to purify our desires, to purify our existence, to purify our understanding. Because currently our understanding is all matter oriented. We see everything as matter, we see everyone also as material. है ना? So we are so much engrossed in material sense gratification, material identity, material thought process and all. And this is why we fear as well. This is why we fear, because we see everything. Matter means scarcity, spirit means unlimited. Matter means scarcity. Matter will always show, okay, I have to really compete, work hard. Why? Because I do not want to be kicked out of the house. I have to earn money to pay the rent, this and that. So matter means scarcity, which will make us work. I have to outsmart, outbeat others. But spirit means no scarcity, abundance. Abundance. Spirit means cooperation, not competing. Spirit means like putting others first. Spirit means self improvement. Matter means doesn't matter self improvement or what, just as long as I'm better than the other person. So we all are heavily materially tainted. But the beauty is, before practicing Krishna consciousness, before coming into Krishna consciousness, hardly any person realizes that his mind needs controlling, that his mind is a bit uncontrolled, uh, that he needs to control his mind, he needs to control his desires, purify his desires. Hardly anyone. Or even if we want to control our mind, then the controlling mind is for what? So that I can make good money, so that I can make good name for myself. uh, so that if I have a controlled mind, I can make my investments very nice investments and make my money grow. I can make good family relationships and all. But we devotees, we do not want to control our mind so that I can be good at work, I can be good at relationships, I can be good at earning money and have a good health and all. These are some say byproducts and all. We want to control our mind because with a controlled mind, controlled senses, we can get into absorption, one pointed attention towards Krishna. Yeah. Attachment towards Krishna will come from a controlled mind only, not a uncontrolled mind. Uncontrolled mind means in two places. Mind is in two places. Controlled mind means mind is in one place only, at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. So we want to control our mind because we want to demonstrate our love to Krishna, and love is one pointed. Love is one pointed. Uh, It is business of prostitution, which is like um, open business, say, or that ways, where there is no loyalty. Love means loyalty, which is one pointed. So this is why we want to control our mind, so that with whole focus, wholeheartedness, whole attachment, absorption, one pointed, we can dedicate ourselves through our body, mind, word, speech to Krishna, become fully absorbed. That is meditation. That is samadhi. Continuous thinking of Krishna, continuous remembering of Krishna. And this thinking is the highest service. This remembering of Krishna is the highest service. The whole tapasya, control of the mind, is to come to this level. The whole tapasya, control of the mind, is to come to this level. This is the highest thing. how much. See, when we go to temple, Janmashtami rush, other days not so rush. When we go to temple, we take darshan of deities, and we try to. We should be speaking with deities. We should be offering our heartfelt prayers, our gratitude. We should be speaking with deities. Hmm? And then when we uh, kind of go to temple, we should check how long are we able to behold the beauty of deities. How long are we able to see the deities for? 2 minutes? 5 minutes? 7 minutes? Can we see them for 10 minutes? Can we speak with them for 10 minutes? Can we offer our heartfelt prayers to them for 10 minutes? Can we have how long? No. So this is all to go into a samadhi, a concentrated meditation, concentrated meditation, pure, proper concentrated meditation. Yeah. This is why we want to control our mind. Honestly, see, Krishna consciousness is much better when it is presented as it is. Krishna is as he is, Bhagavad Gita as it is, Krishna consciousness presented as it is. Simple philosophy, clear philosophy. Hmm, likewise. And this is the highest ultimate aim of the soul proper, attainment of the soul proper, to attain uh, service at the lotus feet of the divine couple. And in order to get that attainment, the mind has to be controlled. Controlled mind means sanity. Sanity. What does sanity mean, Evie? You say, pe-
Being
go
in
on.
right mind.
Right mind, did you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. People say this, right? Are you in your sane mind? Are you in your right mind? Hmm? Maybe they may not be saying sane mind, but I think they say like this, right? Are you in your right mind? So sanity. Sanity means cleanliness. Cleanliness, purity, pure mind. Purity attracts Krishna. Cleanliness, purity, that thing. So the mind has to be very controlled. The mind has to be very pure. Wherever there is some any grudge if we are holding, na, then we cannot have a very clean, pure mind. And it will be very difficult to attract Krishna. If we have any tinge of say material desires, any grudges, any holding of on our chest, say. This is why we need devotee association. This is why we have to surrender, even though practically we have not become, but just in words and emotions and making some efforts, Mahaprabhu will fill the gap. It is only through Mahaprabhu's mercy. The gap has to be filled, but on our part, we have to demonstrate our action, our efforts, and the gap has to be filled by Mahaprabhu via the mercy of the spiritual master. So I'm trying to just set some tone, some lines, some standards just for myself. That why do we want to control our mind? What is the need for controlling mind? If we in this mind control, there's a big, I don't know how big, but yeah, there's a really good buzz, uh, perhaps big buzz, mindfulness. Few years since last few years, I think. Uh, Mindfulness is quite big, right? In Europe, Western Europe, America, in India as well, perhaps, and all. And see, very soon we will be getting away from this mind. I mean, this word won't be so much appealing because we humans, we we find mindfulness is a great thing now, but few years down the line, oh, mindfulness, no, don't use that. It is no more in fashion. But this mindfulness, na, to yeah. So the society also says mindfulness. There's so many sessions done. There's some sessions done on mindfulness in companies now, almost in every company, every job and all, where yeah, um, there's this mindfulness done, and community wise as well, and an employee can reach out and tell this HR, I need some mindfulness session and all, can you arrange, or I'm going through this and some, I'm a bit under the weather, say, mentally speaking. So the companies allow for it, but what is their agenda? Okay, you get mindfulness so that you can focus at your work nicely, you can do your job nicely, company will grow, you will also get salary, family and all will be fine, but it's all at the end of the day materially mundane objective. Hmm? Because the understanding is not that I am a soul, not a material body. That understanding is not there. Leave the understanding that I'm a devotee of Krishna, or leave the understanding that I'm a devotee of Krishna. Certainly those understanding is not there. So in material world, materialists are controlling their mind. There many people will find big CEOs, big politicians, sports persons, celebrities, film stars, and all. They want to have a controlled mind. They have a controlled mind as well, very disciplined, very focused. But what is their purpose? What is one aiming? This is why people say spirituality is an internal thing. Uh, What is our purpose? What are we up to? What is our ambition? Huh? So, Evie, help complete this line from Tulsi Arti. More ei abhilash, vilas kunje diyovas. Huh? Then,
I,
yeah, go on, say a bit. More ei abhilash, vilas kunje diyovas. And then,
is it Nayane Haribol Yugala Barasi?
Haribol. Very nice.
Haribol.
Very nice. Yeah, this is our Evie. She is learning Tulsi prayers, Guru Ashtakam, doing japa and all everything. Very nice practicing Krishna consciousness. So yes, this is what is our aspiration. More a abhilash. This is what my aspiration is. Only one. Vilas kunje diyovas. That bhavan, that kunj, that residence, that place where the divine couple are engaged in amorous loving relationship pastimes. And nene heribo sada yugal ruparasi. Through my eyes I will behold their beauty throughout, forever. The divine couple. I'm making a swing for them and let them play. That is what we aspire. That is what we want. This is the core of our hearts. This should be the core of our heart's desire. So we want our mind to be absorbed fully there. See, this is this sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, no? Dhyan Yoga, or controlling the mind. Now, in this chapter, I don't think so. We get a understanding of Krishna as Tattvata, in principle, in Siddhant, as who he is. When we study the slokas, we can check again. Like in fourth chapter, he says, right? He tells about himself, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, that my appearance and disappearance, my activities, or everything is transcendental. Uh, well, whose appearance is transcendental, his disappearance, everything is transcendental. So he tells about himself that whenever there is a decline in religious activities, and whenever there is a rise in abominable activities and all, I descend, like that. So in fourth chapter also he tells, in third also he tells Arjuna that give up this lethargy and fight, just surrender unto me and fight. In second also he reveals little bit about himself. He tells uh, and in fifth also he tells a bit about himself. Mm. But in sixth chapter we'll see he doesn't really tell about himself, his personality, but he speaks a great deal on the need to control mind. Why? Because after sixth chapter comes seventh chapter, knowledge of the absolute. Eighth chapter, attaining the supreme. Ninth chapter, the most confidential knowledge. Tenth chapter, opulence of the absolute. 11th, the universal form. 12th, loving devotional service. Devotional service. So these, in order to understand the knowledge of the absolute, in order to attain the absolute, in order to attain the supreme, in order to f- understand the most confidential knowledge, in order to understand the opulence of the absolute, we have to have a controlled mind. This is what Krishna wants, that before we embark on the cream journey of Bhagavad Gita, we go with a very controlled mind, peaceful mind, and we become more clear that who we are and what are we up to. Okay. Any thoughts, any questions or comments? Okay, let's see chapter 6 on this note and text 5. Hare Krishna, Maila.
Hare Krishna. Ashish, how
Hmm.
about if we compare with ourselves? I mean, where we were and where we are.
See, again,
Are we
comparing.
progressing in this path? I mean, without comparing with other devotees, if we are comparing within ourselves, how is that? Even that is not recommended.
Sure. So, uh, this comparison, na? Comparing with ourselves. Okay, before we try to discuss this. Again, all of you say, is comparison a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad.
Okay. Harsha, Evi, Diksha, Sudha Mataji, others. Is comparison a good thing or a bad thing?
Neither. Depends.
So, can you explain how is it neither? How does it depend? What does it depend on?
If you're using it like trying to be better or trying to judge others or yourself, then it could be bad. But also, if you're using it for positive reinforcement, then it could be good.
Very nice. Yeah. If comparison is used for to help me grow, uh, to help me grow, not to put someone down or see, or not also to bring a sense of self pity. And we cannot live without comparison. No? This is a world wherein comparison is for sure. So, how we use comparison? No? How we use comparison? Generally, comparison perhaps deemed to be negative. Okay, it's not a good. Do not compare. Not good to compare. But we cannot live without it. We ourselves compare, na? Or look at this, look at that. And all. I mean, it's there within the society. But there's healthy comparison, na? What are we comparing? For what purpose are we comparing? If it is in a way to help us come closer to Krishna, why is it bad? No. Anything which helps us come closer to Krishna is desirable, is very desirable. This is why we practice Krishna consciousness. This is why we follow this lifestyle and everything. Why? Because it helps us come closer to Krishna. It helps us attain purity. It helps us become more pure. It helps us become more humble. then we can experience real peace. Then we can experience real love. Krishna will hold our hands. Krishna will embrace us only when we have a controlled mind. If our mind is not controlled, then Krishna won't be embracing us. Krishna won't be embracing us. So comparison also, uh, if it is used in a way which helps us come closer to Krishna, if it is not to put someone down, if it is not to also invoke self-pity amongst us and all, then it is good. So is it good to compare myself before and after? It is healthy, na, to check, okay, how I was before and how I am now. So we need motivation. We definitely need motivation and encouragement. So that comparison brings us a motivation and encouragement, and it's a natural. It will come naturally. We all can vouch for ourselves. Every practicing devotee. Now see, I love this. Every practicing devotee. A devotee is one who is practicing. If he is not practicing, when can we call him or her as such a devotee? Although, yeah, nectar of instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami instructs, okay, mentally we have to honor or from a distance and all, whosoever has uh, faith, say. But faith has to be exercised, na? Like a car, if someone buys a car but does not make any use of the car, keeps it in the garage, is it a good thing? If someone buys a laptop but oh no, don't use the laptop, no, is it a good? Buys a television, not using the television. So we also having faith. Oh, I have faith in Bhagwan, I have faith in spirituality. Yeah, yeah, I have faith. But we don't associate with devotees. भगवान मन में है जी. मेरे को श्रद्धा है, मेरे को विश्वास है. भगवान तो मन में, मंदिर में क्यों जाए, है ना? फिर हम कहाँ जाएंगे? मॉल में घूमेंगे हम मजे से. देखो, पक्की बात है ये, पक्की बात है. फिर हम पकड़े जाएंगे ना, कहाँ पकड़े जाएंगे? मॉल में ही पकड़े जाएंगे. ये और ऐसे, हाँ. तो ये faith is there, we need to exercise that faith, na? When it comes to uh, exercising our faith or something for some of our, say, personal agenda, like we say people come to Vrindavan, then oh, Vrindavan will come once Lord Krishna calls us. हाँ जी, वृंदावन तो आना ही है. वृंदावन नहीं तो कहाँ जाएंगे? आएंगे. अरे भाई, कैसी बात कर दी. बस एक बार भगवान बुला दें. तो भगवान कैसे बुलाएंगे भाई? फोन करके बुलाएंगे क्या? भगवान तो अपने भक्तों के माध्यम से काम करते हैं ना. तो भक्त लोग बोल रहे हैं ना, और क्या, फिर और क्या बाकी रहेगा? तो उसमें कभी कभी हम थोड़ा पीछा हट कर देते हैं. हाँ, लेकिन वही समझो, कोई व्यापार के लिए, बिजनेस डीलिंग, बिजनेस मीटिंग, कुछ करने जाना हो जॉब के लिए इत्यादि, तो भाई फिर हम मौसम भी नहीं देखेंगे कैसा है कैसा नहीं है, कि क्या है. हाँ, हम कुछ ना कुछ, कैसे ना कैसे करके बंदोबस्त बना के जाएंगे व्यापार के लिए, हमें दिल्ली, बम्बई, पुणे, जहाँ जाना हो. So if we tell someone, oh, come to Karuna Bhavan or come to Vrindavan, then one may, oh yes, Karuna Bhavan, yes, why not, and all. Once this is sorted, settled, that is settled, or once the lordships call us, we will come. At that time, we try to put it on Krishna, na? On the lordship. Yeah, once they call us, we will come. But if there is a business meeting or something, some good opportunity, uh, then we wouldn't leave it on Krishna. We ourselves will make that efforts and all, everything to be there. Anyway, so but once we find good association in faith, we have to exercise our faith. Just like government gives this what each in India there is Aadhaar card, and other different countries they have got different, some license and things. So we go and we exercise it, like student card. If you have a student card, you pay less fee, train fare. If you have a student card, you pay less on this and that. So we exercise that. Okay, yes, I am a student, I've got this student card, I want to exercise my right. Likewise, we all have got faith. If we have faith in in spiritual activities, in godly sentiments, and religious activities for that matter, say in Krishna consciousness for that matter. So we should definitely try to exercise our faith. And how can we exercise our faith? By associating with devotees. So coming to comparison, again, if comparison is, it's natural to compare, to check ourselves how I was and how I am now, and this should be done. And this one can understand only one practices devotional service. This is why a practicing devotee only can see the before and after. But one who has just got faith but not exercising it nicely, he cannot experience this before and after change. Yeah? So nothing as such helps in theory. Nothing. This is why Krishna consciousness is a practical engagement. It's a practical engagement in loving devotional service to Lord Krishna. Now, doesn't matter if someone could be living in Portsmouth, which is down south of England, where currently there is no temple, there is one center or some preaching program. So one could be living alone down south of England somewhere. One could be living alone somewhere else and all. Hmm? But still one can be practically engaging in loving devotional service. This is why we say, na, bring one person who can claim that I cannot practice devotional service. Why? Because I'm living down south of London, Portsmouth, south of England and all. For this reason. One person who can claim that I cannot practice devotional service. We wouldn't find any single person who can claim that I cannot practice Krishna consciousness. So practice the whole of why is it devotee association? To inspire us, to encourage us, to give us the wisdom, the knowledge, to clear any doubts, to lay off any doubts, the motivation, encouragement, and to set some role models in front of us and help us practice. The whole is so that we can come to a point to practice Krishna consciousness. And when we practice, then only we'll relish this bliss experience, and then only we'll relish uh, the experience. So, Evie, briefly, if you please share your experience, especially 3 days Janmashtami, then Prabhupada's appearance day, then Edinburgh, right? The Rath Yatra festival, book distribution, Harinam, and preaching program in Salisbury Center, the Kirtan program. How was it? 3 continuous days.
Very intense, but amazing. Very fulfilling.
Very intense, very amazing, very absorbing. Such high energy. EV distributed 7 books in Edinburgh and Meadows Garden in the park, right? 7 books. One person, one lady, she gave EV 20 pounds for either Bhagavad Gita. No, I don't think so. EV had Bhagavad Gita with her, but Beyond Birth and Death or Higher Taste or some book. Uh, and she was interacting with many and sharing Krishna consciousness, inspiring them into understand spirituality, practice a bit spirituality, or read spiritual book. Make a start in their journey. She was being an instrument in the mission of Mahaprabhu. When will we be an instrument in the mission of Lord Shri Krishna? She was being a real instrument in the mission of Mahaprabhu, a mediator, a transformer. She was moved as she was seeing people walking by, passing by. She was approaching them with books in her hand, with flyers in her hand, telling people about Karuna Bhavan temple, what all activities we do in the temple and all. And she was trying what ways can we present Krishna consciousness, what ways can we tell the person, and what ways can we help the person be a good role model for ourselves and inspire the person to begin his or her journey in Krishna consciousness, and not to judge the person or not to tell him off, okay, stop drinking, stop smoking, or this job is not good. That is no, not that's not how devotees preach. No, Krishna is lovingly sweet. We don't need to start preaching in another way, in any fearful sentiment, giving any fearful sentiment to anyone. Or neither we go preaching, okay, read Bhagavad Gita and all, you will attain all desires in your life, all material desires, everything. No, we don't preach that way. No. Then in the Salisbury Center, there was a Kirtan program going on, and devotees and participants all were dancing so much to the Kirtan. Very engaging. So, Anuja, does that a little bit answer your question? On comparison. Comparison is natural, it should be done also. But we need to understand where to draw a line. Like analysis is good, but too much of analysis leads to paralysis. So too much of analysis is not recommended. Analysis is good as long as okay, a healthy, decent enough analysis, and we leave it. Don't get hung up with it. If we daily, day in, day out, I'm just comparing, then okay, we'll become like some mechanical comparison box. We do not want to become like a mechanical robotic devotee. No, we want to be a living devotee. Yeah? So practicing devotee to anyone who calls out the name of Krishna, one who has visited temple, taken prasad and all. But thing is, how can we come into practicing Krishna consciousness? That is the real thing, and there lies the real charm. Okay, we can discuss further on comparison and things. If anyone has any other questions, thoughts, or comments, then please share. Okay, let's go. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 5. Uddharetatmanam atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet atmeva hi atmano bandhur atmeva ripuratmana. Okay, Diksha, read translation.
Jivya. Translation. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
Purport, please.
Perfect. The word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul, depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is a central point of yoga practice, Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to sense. Attachment to sense objects. It is stressed herein. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned souls from the mere of name signs. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and the senses. Instead, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with the false ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way, the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade himself by the attraction of sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence.
इसे
The
पढ़ना
best, the more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence. The best way is to the best way is to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word high is here. The word high is used for emphasizing this point. That is, one must do this. It is also said,
मन एव मनुष्याणां कारणं बन्धन मोक्षये बन्धाय विषया संगो. Wow, beautiful this is ना. बन्धाय विषया संगो मुक्त्ये निर्विषयम मना. बहुत सुंदर वैदिक लिटरेचरों में और आता है उपनिषदों में. यहाँ पढ़िए.
for, for men, the mind is a cause of bondage and mind is a cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is the cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense object is the cause of liberation. Amrita Bindu Upanishad 2. Therefore, the mind, which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, is the cause of supreme liberation. Translation. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of a conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
गजब के ना. देखिए, beautiful translation and purport. Now, just imagine, why is Bhagavad Gita said as like timeless wisdom? Bhagavad Gita, the teachings in Bhagavad Gita is called as, in Vedic literature in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, said like timeless wisdom. Means it's like eternal wisdom. It's not like something manufactured. If something is timeless, means it is not manufactured. No? It is eternal. It is something subject matter of the soul. Then, if something is timeless, then it is pure. Yeah? Pure. Otherwise, then it is imperishable. Na? Otherwise, perishable. Perishable matlab it gets affected. It gets affected by external factors, environment, atmosphere, and all. So it loses its purity, its sanctity. Our bhakti to Krishna, our offering to Krishna, na, is through our purity, our chastity, our loyalty. That Krishna says in 14th chapter we'll come across a shloka in 2nd chapter. Na, Krishna says to Arjuna, व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धिर एके हे कुरु नंदना बहुशाखा ही अनंताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिना. Beautiful. Krishna says that fight with one pointed attention. One pointed. So we have to come to this one pointed. देखिए जब before we become a devotee or even while preaching, say, we tell people that life is this is not just one life. This is not the only life we have. We tell people about samsara, repeated birth and death, birth, that old age, and birth, that old age, disease, and then human form of life, born again as a human or animal or plant body or higher living entity, lower living entity, and all. But when we are actually practicing devotional service, when we actually practice Krishna consciousness for ourselves, within myself, I should just take this. Okay, this is my only life. This is my last chance now. Now, suppose how would we act when we know this is my last chance, this is my last life? Will we not become serious? Will we not become a bit more focused? Huh? We believe in reincarnation, but we should not rely. We cannot afford to rely only on reincarnation. From our mind, this reincarnation has to go away altogether. That okay, this is my only opportunity now. So imagine if this is the only opportunity, how much focus should we be? And this is how it should be. We cannot afford to leave it upon tomorrow or next life. No. And also, if the more we practice, the more good association will take, Krishna will reveal himself. The more the principles, the devotional principles, Siddhant, the more they become clear, the more we know Krishna in reality, in truth as he is, the more we'll fall in love with Krishna. So we cannot afford to then leave it to next life, this life itself. This is why transformation has to come in this life, not next life. Practice, we have to practice this life, not next life. Transformation, and then we have to fully evolve ourselves in this life only. See, when this understanding is becomes more and more refined, more and more clear, who am I? Who is God? Who is Krishna? What is my relationship with Krishna? And when we know Krishna more and more as he is, uh, when we know him more and more, then we become more and more focused. Then we navigate or channelize our lives more and more. Then we start taking ourselves seriously. Then we automatically we wouldn't be wasting time then. Okay, again, EV. EV is doing PR work for us here. So, EV, do some more PR work for us, please. Tell us your time duration in Karuna Bhavan, Scotland. How much of waste of time did you do whilst you were here? For about a month you were here in Scotland in your this second visit. Was there much scope for wasting time here and there, just loitering, gossiping?
No,
Huh? How much of gossiping did you do?
no possible.
How much of wasting of time? How much of extra sleeping? How much of flipping the mobile phone did you do?
Yeah, very, very little.
Very less, right? Because the
Yeah.
environment, the energy, the engagement, and everything is so. When there is a Krishna consciousness, environment, Krishna consciousness, mood, and all, there won't be any waste of time. Time management, stress management, relationship management, finance management, XYZ management, ABC management, all will easily, naturally settle down. But where there is no, why do we need these many managements? Because we are not Krishna conscious. Why do we need to control our mind? Because we are not Krishna conscious. The whole control of my mind is so that I can, in my consciousness, I can be fully aware. I can be always remembering and thinking of Krishna, of the lovely pastime, of the joyous pastimes of Krishna. That is why mind control. See, Vishnu, na? Vishnu means all pervading. Sarva Vyapak, all pervading, na? So, God being all pervading, Krishna is all pervading and all. But look, still he is not able to enter my minds. We are not letting him enter our minds fully. Even though all pervading, yet we are not letting him enter our minds. It's not that he cannot enter, but it's thus we have blocked our mind. Where with matter? material sense gratification, material identity, material thought process. And this is because our mind is not controlled. And this is why when we control our mind, then Krishna will easily enter quickly, quickly. Then we'll become Krishna conscious. Then we'll become fully Krishna conscious. So this is timeless wisdom, timeless, eternal. And Krishna spoke this message when 5,000 years ago, 5,000 plus years ago. Look, at that time he's saying to Arjuna that what is he saying? That uh, the mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. What to speak of now? What to speak of now? Leave 5,000 years ago. See, 50 years ago. Just let's keep it very simple. 50 years ago, na? In late 60s, Prabhupada went to America. In 66, he incorporated the International Society. In late 60s, devotees started doing distribution, book distribution. Mid 60s, late 60s. And since then, 50 plus years. And what devotees and others read, oh, mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and its enemy as well. And at that time, there was no internet, by the way. Then, there was no internet, there was no mobile phone, there was no technological advancement. mm, and also planes were not that frequent. Taxis were also not that frequent. No, there was not much. Automobile cars were also not that high speed cars. Bridges also were not so many bridges and all. uh, Highways, motorways, they were not such infrastructurally that great and all. So, but yet this shloka was there, and many read it in West, in Europe, in America, in India, and other places, and they all were able to. Most of them, many of them, were able to relate to it. Yes, wow. Mind is the friend of the conditioned soul, and mind can be the enemy as well. This is so true. One must deliver with the help of his mind and not degrade it. Even then, and what to speak of now? What to speak of now? So, uh, advancement is what? Advancement is advancement of the consciousness, one's consciousness. In our chitta vritti, in our deep attachment, in our core of our existence, the soul proper. How much is the appraisal, the valuation of Shri Shri Radha Krishna? How much do we understand? How long can we go on thinking of Shri Shri Radha Krishna? How long can we go of remembering of the pastimes of Shri Shri Radha Krishna? How long can we go on speaking about Shri Shri Radha Krishna in Tattva? That is the thing. That is what we want to aspire. Zoom in further, more focus, and then go for eternity, complete eternity. So this Krishna spoke 5,000 years ago, and this was there 1,000 years back as well, and all. Even now, we can see how important, how vital it is to control the mind and the power of the mind. Oh my gosh, what it can do, what it is doing. They say, right, the monkey mind. uh, Monkey mind. So, in lack of spiritual identity means monkey mind, driven by mind. Lack of spiritual. Manorathena asti dhavato vahi. We see in Canto 5, chapter 18, text 12. Manorathena asti dhavato vahi. In the chariot of the mind, one is carried away through. But one whose mind is very controlled, then sarve gune tatra samasate sura. Yasya asti bhaktir bhagvati akinchana. One who has akinchan bhakti towards Lord Shri Krishna. Akinchan means, in very nutshell, one who considers that I possess nothing but Lord Krishna. I own nothing but Lord Krishna. He is my maintainer, he is my caretaker. I am whatever I am because of Lord Krishna. No sense of possession, no sense of ownership, akinchana. So yasya asti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana. Bhagavati na bhaktir bhagavati akinchana unto Lord Shri Krishna with this akinchana mood. What happens then? Tatra sarver gunai tatra samasate sura. All the good qualities of Suraganna, demigods, all the good qualities of demigods reside, come in that person. Why? Because in his mind, he is absorbed in loving Krishna. His mind, he's given his mind to Krishna. Then all the good qualities of demigods, like time management, stress management, everything will come about. Everything will come about, all the skills and all. When we are in the devotee association practicing devotional service from our hearts, with good clarity, with good siddhant and everything. Otherwise, what? Uh, uh, यस्य अस्ति भक्तिर भगवती अकिंचन सर्वगुणे तत्र समासुते सुरा. हरौ अभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुण. When his mind is stolen and all say, हरौ अभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुण मनोरथेन अस्ति धावतो बहि. He would be carried away by the waves, like carried away by the waves of his mind, pulled by these desires, different desires. I desire this, I desire that, and all, and really pulled. The senses will be pulling, all the five senses in different direction. Sense will be pulling. So yoga begins when there is a control of mind and senses. That is the beginning, and that has to be there throughout control of mind and senses. And see how important is mind, because mind is the junction. Mind is the junction for the Atma to make its journey all the way to Godhead. Mind is the junction. And in any tradition, be it personalist tradition or impersonalist tradition, है ना? Sakarvad, Nirakarvad, Visheshavad, Nirvisheshavad, any tradition. In fact, be it, if I may say, any religion as well say. Everywhere the emphasis of mind is given, and every religion aims for the ultimate betterment of human form of life. So first of all, we are so blessed to have this human form of life. But having this human form of life, if we do not control our mind, then wow, it's like, this is why then, like a monkey, there's a shloka comes na, in the Upanishads and all. A monkey, but if he has drunk wine, what will happen? Imagine a monkey, anyways, is very restless. Monkey. Now, if a monkey has drunk alcohol, what will happen? More havoc. Cannot imagine. So much havoc. So this is why so beautiful, na, says the translation. One should not degrade himself. One should not degrade himself through his mind, rather deliver himself through his mind. So we should understand, in material existence, we all are subjected to the influence of our dictations. We are dictated by our mind and senses. Because in this world we associate with mind. We associate heavily with mind. We associate heavily with mind. So, and then which gives us a wrong sense of identity, material identity. And material identity means exploitation. So we then try to exploit the material nature, thinking it will make me happy. This is such an illusion, thinking that the more I'm attracted to material sense gratification, the more efforts I make in material sense gratification, mm, the more I am attracted towards sense gratification, material sense gratification, the more I become entangled in material existence. The more I am addicted towards material happiness, the more I become material the more pain I receive in form of material miseries. So this is why the mind needs purifying. Mind needs purifying. We have to upgrade ourselves through our mind. Using the same mind, we need to just upgrade ourselves. This is why mantra meditation. Hmm? Mantra. What does mantra mean?
जो मन को तार दे.
Nice. Okay. Very good. Yes, Evie.
To deliver to the mind.
Yeah. That which delivers the mind. Now, delivers the mind from what, or delivers it what? What does it give? Where does it? What delivers the mind? Meaning
To free the mind. For control.
free the mind from what?
Material suffering.
Yeah. 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 To free the mind from material suffering is because to free the mind from ignorance. Suffering is because of ignorance only, right? To free the mind from ignorance. To free the mind from darkness or illusion or anxiety. From material absorption, material identity. So manas trayate iti mantra. Mantra meditation. So when we chant the holy names of Krishna on beads, do japa, then we can. And japa is such a, uh, it's like a such a joy, and the effect of it can be experienced instantly. Instant. Just like when we go on Harinam, right? Devotees are chanting, but those who are listening to us, they feel the effect of it straight away. They say, "Oh yes." People, so many people we see when devotees go out doing mantra meditation, then they put their hands on their chest. Oh wow, I feel so light. I feel so peaceful. This is so relaxing, so calming, so soothing, and all. So instantly delivers. And japa, once one starts doing japa, one can see the effect of it, how powerful japa is. Straight away transports our mind from any confusion to clarity. So just we discussed, right? Staircase, it has two functions, to go up or down. And the same staircase, the bottommost step is connected with the topmost step in the same staircase. Now using our mind, we can either go up or we can either go down. And this is why this human form of life is so valuable. And this is why having a spiritual friend in life is the most important thing. If we have someone, a spiritual, say, guide, mentor, friend, someone who we can look up to, someone from whom we can draw inspiration, someone from whom then ultimately eventually we can share our heart, we can reveal our heart. Yeah? That is so very important and so very helpful. Otherwise, everything is said. The human form of life is there, Vedas are there, holy name is there, everything is there. But if I'm not exercising my faith, if I'm not putting into practice and all, missing out altogether. And we do not, mind does not like being still. We cannot afford to be still for long and all. Mind needs engagement. So if we do not engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness, we'll certainly engage ourselves in Maya consciousness. Definitely. What else is there for us? Nothing. Either we become Krishna consciousness or we engage in ourselves in Maya consciousness. So the mind is the very strong and very powerful. And this is why Krishna knows the strength of mind. So before going into bhakti yoga, the mind and senses have to be purified and controlled. Any thoughts, questions, or comments? Okay, let us see next. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Wi-Fi wasn't working. Don't know for what reason. Sorry. Evie, I dropped off and okay, I'm back, the host. Yeah, so Harsha, if you could read, I'm just bringing up in the screen.
For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. The purpose of practicing Eightfold Yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga, for show, is simply a waste of time. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga is simply a waste of time. One who
So
cannot
see,
control his mind.
this is why, see, many people, na, sometimes they ask, okay, you are practicing or you do this, and in my family also I see people are religious, people are pious, they go to temple and all. But why is it uh, you seem to be having a different approach, different understanding, or there's something different than others? Well, this is when there's so many like sadhana or something, but there's not sense control or mind control, and it cannot be unless and until there is like understanding of Krishna. Really, some of the practices in the name of spirituality as well, what is going on, should be easily packed up all together. Yeah, of no use, no use, a waste of time, or no more than that. But anyways, okay, continue.
One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional the constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. As long as one's mind remains an unconquered enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone. As Paramatma. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically.
Such is such powerful is the process of Krishna consciousness. Na? We want to be dictated by Krishna. Na? We want to be ruled over by Krishna. We want to be controlled by Krishna. And understanding of God in many sections of society, many parts of the world, say many places, whatnot and all. God is like understanding of God is of a very fearful personality. God is a very fearful, punishing, or is not sweet, charming, and all. Why? Because we do not know much also about him. What is his name? What are his names? What does he do? What does he like? Does he have any likes, dislikes? What does he look like? Where does he live? With whom does he live? What's a life, godly life like? Uh, And through Brahma Samhita, through Vedic literature, we understand how sweet Krishna is, how beautiful he is. See now the festivals, swing festival, Jhulan Yatra, few days back, right? Flower festival, boat festival, Janmashtami celebration. Just now, if we see how one need not as such practice as well, huh? But if any person is slightly intelligent, see, um, if we see the practice in itself, this Janmashtami, how so much of decoration and all this is done, and how sweetly, lovingly deities are dressed, Krishna is dressed, and baby Krishna looked after and everything. Jhulan Yatra, boat festival, all these festivals and the singing, dancing. What is Krishna consciousness? Singing, dancing, feasting. Huh? Now, singing, dancing is such a joy of the heart, is it not? Feasting, joy of the heart. That is Krishna consciousness. So it is such a sublime engagement in loving devotional service. So that is Krishna is that sort of God. huh? It's not like someone who is hunting us or waiting to hunt us down. No, the sweetest personality, the most beautiful personality, the most sweetest personality. That Krishna, and we get to understand Krishna through Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, through Brahma Samhita. Venum Kvanantamaravindalayataksam Barhavatam Samasita Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakotikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Tamaham Bhajami. Vishesha Shobham. Na, Krishna is Vishesh, special, very special. Kandarpakoti Vishesha Shobham is very kamniya, very sweet, very special. Uh, How much? See, uh, we cannot describe Krishna through words and all. This is why Kandharva Koti Kamniya Vishesha Sobha. The love god, na, the attraction, Cupids. Uh, if Krishna's beauty enchants millions and trillions of Cupids, how beautiful Krishna is. That beautiful. So this is why we control our mind, bring ourselves, na, our senses, mind. So body, mind, senses, intelligence, ego, soul proper, all existence should be one line. That means that mind. Now, body and senses, as it says in the purport, right? We living entity follows superior dictation. And currently, who is the most superior in our faculties? Body, senses, mind, intelligence, ego, soul proper. It is the mind who has taken the boss role now, who is bossing us. In bodies in one line only, or bodies matter no more than matter. Senses are fine, senses also matter only, dull say in that sense. Intelligence is intelligence is cooperative. Intelligence is good. Intelligence is good. Uh, and ego as well. It's the mind. If we just align our mind, all four, five, everything will fall in one line completely. But if we try not to align our mind, then we are scattered consciousness. Yes, Anuja, any question, comment? Huh?
Sorry, continue.
Okay, read translation again also.
For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy.
Look, and the irony is we are living, who are we living with? With a greatest friend or a greatest enemy? We are living with the greatest enemy and we do not even know that who किसको हमने shelter दे रखा, whom we have given shelter. That's the irony. We do not even know that we are living with our greatest enemy. Or rather, we take our greatest enemy to be our friend. Yeah, it's alright, I am fine. The one who thinks, who says, nah, I am fine, I'm alright, I don't need it. Did you meet maybe some persons? Did some people tell you when you were doing books, oh, I'm fine, I'm alright, give it to someone else, don't need it?
Yeah, loads.
Loads in it. So one who thinks that I'm fine, I'm alright, I don't need it, they need it the most actually. So we also, when we think, okay, I've become a devotee and all, no, we have not. We need to. We have not. How much I have good control over my? No, we do not. We do not. We need lots and lots of. This is why listening. We need lots and lots of listening. We need lots and lots. In initial stages, it is listening. The more we listen, and the more japa, uh, then we will be able to read also very nicely and read between the. I mean, it's not like we do not read initially, just listen. No, we read also, but listening, more emphasis has to be on listening. And throughout, actually, listening. Right now, we have been listening to the mind. This is why when we come to the devotees, we listen to the devotees. Mind becomes purified. People say, no, follow your heart, follow your mind, do what your mind says. Do not deprive yourself. Do not be harsh on yourself. Once I was speaking with someone and I was telling him or her, I don't remember who and where and when was it, but I remember like um, I went into more of a devotee mode and I was like, okay, the senses are so heavy, mind is so heavy, and this so pulled down by the material modes, lethargy, uh, lust, anger, greed, envy, this. So I was speaking a bit, and the other person, oh, don't be so heavy on yourself. It's okay, it's normal, it's natural. No, it's not normal, it's not natural. No, normal is to be ever happy. Normal is to be ever happy. Normal is to be free, to be secured, to be not worried. That's normal. That's normal. But we are not normal. This is why we need to control our mind to come to our normal position, to come to our sanity. If we control our mind, then our identity will be very clear, very sorted, very helpful. But without a controlled mind, we cannot have a clear identity. There are two things: clean consciousness and hazy consciousness. What does hazy mean? Hazy?
Hazy is something blurry which is not clear.
Blurry, not clear. Barabar. So, with controlled mind, we will have a clean consciousness, pure consciousness. With an uncontrolled mind, hazy consciousness, blurry consciousness, scattered consciousness, dhundla. So when you drive a car, but if you are not able to see, or if it's like hazy, if the window, if the mirror is not clear, we will feel insecure, right? We'll be worrying, oh, will there be a car crash? What's coming on and on? But if the mirror is clean, we'll be able to see through very cleanly, nicely. And no worry, no, would be a good journey. So we want to attain clean consciousness through a clean mind, by purifying the mind, by cleaning the mind. This is why in Sishtastakam, the first thing Mahaprabhu says is what? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Bhavadava Magni Nirvapanam. Shreya Kerava Chandrika Vitarnam Vidyavadu Jivananam. So the first is to cleanse the dust of the mirror of the mind. That is the first thing. Our first business. This is why the first thing we should do, wake up early in morning, chant the holy names of Krishna. The last thing we should do, going to bed, again chant, read, listen. We should never just keep on snoozing our alarms or just wake up and leave the bed and rush or just lay around in the bed and then no. Wake up, pay obeisances, pranam, है ना? Pranam to Guru Maharaj, pranam mantra, acharyas, if not then devotees vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. And then chant the names of Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Brushing teeth, chanting the names of Krishna, getting clean, ready, and all chanting the names of Krishna. Start the day with chanting the names of Krishna. Make time for ourselves during day as well. Before going to bed again, make time for ourselves, reading, hearing, chanting. Then we'll attain a clean consciousness. Otherwise, blurry, hazy. There's no good in fun in hazy consciousness. See, na maya mili na ram. Neither we are enjoying illusion, neither we are enjoying maya, neither we are enjoying material sense gratification. Matter means that which can never be enjoyed. That's matter. Matter means which tells us that I am to be enjoyed, enjoy me. But when we go, we cannot enjoy now. Because we are not meant for matter. We are not meant for material enjoyment. Our enjoyment is in with Krishna. So the whole mind is to shift our focus. That is why the whole mind is to shift our focus. So mantra meditation, when we meditate on the holy names of Krishna, that is the thing. Like again, this is timeless wisdom. Na? Krishna saying this 5,000 years back to Arjuna. Even now we hear 50 years back we see devotees were saying this and all, and they were able to relate to it 50 years back. So we don't like, we have real life example. Now we see. So we discussed before, right? A, a thief, if he enters someone's house with a, obviously thief entering someone's house in night time in darkness to steal, take items. So what does he, should he be most careful about so that he doesn't get caught? What should a thief be most careful about when he goes on his business to steal in order to not get caught?
Making sound.
What?
Making sound.
And that he doesn't make any sound. Huh? Because see, what are our senses? Eyes, ears, nose, so skin, tongue. So see, uh, the residents in the house, they are asleep. So their eyes are closed. They cannot see the thief. Their nostril, they cannot smell the thief. They cannot touch the thief. They cannot speak with the thief. They cannot taste the thief. But one thing they can do is what? They can potentially hear the thief, provided the thief makes any noise. If the thief makes any noise, they can easily hear him, and then the thief will be in trouble. Huh? So the thief doesn't want to make any noise because that will wake up the person who is taking rest, and his plan will be foiled. Likewise, Maya also doesn't want us to make any noise, meaning doesn't want us to chant the holy names of Krishna. Or what happens when we chant the holy names of Krishna? Then we awaken, we become awakened. We become awakened. Then the thief residing in our heart in the form of lust, greed, anger, envy, pride, vanity, what not, they all will run away. They won't stay because we have awakened ourselves to our spiritual consciousness, our spiritual identity. This is why chant the holy names of Krishna, do japa daily, more and more rounds what we can do, and chant loudly, audibly, not murmuring. Chant loudly, audibly. not in the heart. Na? People may say, oh, japa, chanting, why do you have to chant loudly? Just chant within your heart. Why have you to show it off? Well, we do not have that potency, we do not carry that bhakti that now we can do manasi seva or manasi bhajan. So we have to chant so that we can listen, chant and listen. If we chant and listen, then our eyes won't see perverted, our nose won't smell dirty, huh? Our tongue won't taste anything filthy or unoffered. Our consciousness will be pure, clean. Otherwise, though, we are sold out, or we otherwise we are completely sold out to Maya, to the dictations of mind and senses. So the thief is very careful that I do not make noise, because if I make noise, I will be caught. Likewise, the soul, we have to wake up chanting the holy names of Krishna. Then all the thief will run away. The thieves within our heart will run away, and then only Radha and Krishna who are there will appear, will give us their darshan. Irony, na? We are living with a uncontrolled mind, like imagine a monkey, and if he's given AK-47, what will happen? If a monkey gets a revolver, a gun in his hands, and on top of that, if that monkey is drunk, on top of that, if that monkey is bitten by a scorpion, can you imagine? A monkey who anyways is very restless, right? A monkey is very restless, jumping and hopping from one branch and the other throughout. And monkey is so much into sense gratification or sexual enjoyment, no? Heavy. So imagine a monkey if he's drunk, drunk a bit, if he's made to drink some alcohol. Wow, intoxicated. Then he has a AK-47 in his hand. And on top of that, he's bitten by a scorpion. Say, oh, chaos, complete chaos, complete chaos. Such is our case. Such is if we are intoxicated with name, fame, if we are bitten by the Scorpio for physical, sexual enjoyment, sense enjoyment, and all, and if we have been given, like this HK-47 say, we have been given some controllership and all like that, what we will be doing when we have freedom, power, authority, when we are after name, fame, all such, and when we are bitten by material sense gratification or some enjoyment, I need some fun, I need some fun, I need some good night out, I need some good this, I need some good heavy, very heavy. So harmful for ourselves, so harmful for those who come in contact with us. This is why we need to pacify the mind, calm the mind, sober the mind, train the mind, and not train the mind so that I can be a good artist, I can be a good speaker, I can be a good dancer, I can be a good mom or dad, I can be a no. We train our mind so that we can attain Krishna. And when we work in that direction to attaining Krishna, we won't be offending to anyone. Because why? Trinadapi sunichena. Will be humble as a straw in the street, more tolerant than a tree. Now, if a person is very tolerant, can he be offending to anyone? Do you think a tolerant person can be offending to anyone? No. Huh? When we are more tolerant, if we are thinking ourselves humble than a straw in the street, we won't be disrespectful then, we won't be harmful to anyone. But if our mind is not controlled, then we will be harmful to ourselves, causing harm to our body, causing harm to and spreading that, influencing that consciousness, spreading that vibration, that energy amongst others as well. It's tremendously important to control our mind. Who do we most live with? Who do we most spend time with? Who do we most associate with? Who is our friend, best friend? Who do we most talk with? What do you say? This is a question. Who do we most talk with? Who do we most spend time with? Who do we most associate with? Who do we most listen to? Huh? Evie, Harsha, Anuja, others. What do you all say? To the mind only, right? We listen most to our mind only. We spend most time with our mind only. We have our most friendship with our mind only. But what sort of mind? Conditioned mind or a liberated mind? And how do we understand mind is conditioned or liberated? Well, through engagement, through our purpose in life, through our understanding definition of life, through our lifestyle. It doesn't need much of a research. We can understand through our identification. What is our identity in life? Then we can understand whether we are living with a conditioned mind or with a liberated mind. And the whole of this life is to transform ourselves from conditioned state to a liberated state and enjoy that real freedom which is never dying, which is never coming down, always on the high. Okay, on this thought, maybe we'll leave it here. Any question, comments, or anything anyone wants to add or say? Okay, then thank you very much for your participation. We continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.